A forgotten acupuncture needle holds the memory of lamplight, and a Guzheng string vibrates with a long-suppressed melody. A knock at a hotel door is a threshold, and the longing it carries is an inheritance. To hear the journey of the white robe, you must enter the inner circle. Perhaps they are like her, without even a certificate. In the past, scholars read by the light of oil lamps, which was extremely harmful to the eyes, and there were no eyeglasses back then. The Imperial Physician compiled this set of acupuncture treatments. It saved the eyesight of the majority of scholars with poor vision. "I see," Lance nodded without asking further. Just the thought of being able to stay here openly for another month excited him. Lance really liked the local customs here. After being needled, Lance, his head full of silver needles, replied to his assistant, "For the next tasks in Xiancheng, I will be staying here for the time being. Whoever wants to find him, come to Xiancheng." On the other end of the phone, the assistant, looking at the message full of Chinese characters, silently found a translator. Started wondering whether they should also learn some Chinese. Little Xiancheng has already begun to gather various big shots. The next day, Wednesday, Baikeng University joint exam. This wasn't a monthly test, but a large-scale joint examination, so the timing system was completely according to the college entrance exam. The exam started at 9 o'clock. Aside from Zhang Shai's and a few others, class 15 students still arrived at the classroom after 7. When Pu Ziohen arrived, she saw Bai Lion and Ning Zio already seated at their desks, doing practice questions, and she quietly took out her phone to show Bai Lion. He messaged again. "Jian Zhongyou. What about today? What did she say?" Bai Lion slightly lifted her eyes, black pupils, calm and composed. That was a steadfastness of needing to study hard. Pu Ziohen immediately understood and replied to Jian Zhongyou with a heavy heart. "Hello, she has declined." Jian Zhongyou wasn't too surprised, replying promptly. "Then I'll come again tomorrow." Someday he would touch this classmate's heart. Right. Lu Lingxi came to the class before the exam. "This exam will be rather difficult. Everyone relax a little. If you encounter a question you don't know, skip it. Don't get stuck on one question." Baikeng's exam papers were always tough. To avoid students having a breakdown after the exam, teachers of each class would give a heads-up in advance. "Is it that difficult?" Right after Lu Lingxi finished speaking, the whole class began to wail. "Lu Mama, I might not even pass this time." Lu Lingxi looked at the group with amusement. "All right, after the exam, I'll treat everyone to hot pot to unwind. This is probably your last time participating in the joint exams." The last part of her sentence was somewhat softer. Of course, most of the class didn't hear that. They only heard Lu Lingxi's, "I'll treat everyone to hot pot." "Lu Mama, I love you." "Ah, Lu Mama, I will do well on the exam." Behind Bai Lion, Zhang Shai's was the most enthusiastic in his shouting. Only Bai Lion silently looked up at Lu Lingxi, beginning to calculate the cost of treating the whole class to hot pot. How much would Lu Lingxi have to spend? The examination was strict, and the school had already posted the exam numbers the previous night. 8:40. Everyone entered their respective examination rooms, and Bai Lion picked up her pen to find her own room. The first subject was Chinese. Bai Lion took her seat, the bell rang, and after the teacher finished the introduction, the Chinese exam papers were distributed. Bai Lion took the paper into her hands and looked down at the name of the test, Baikeng 10 Schools Joint Examination Paper. She glanced at the names of these 10 schools. At the top of the list, unsurprisingly, was Baikeng High School, followed by Baikeng No. 4 Middle School, and then Baikeng No. 7 Middle School. As for schools similar to Xiancheng, one middle school, naturally, they had no chance to appear behind these 10 schools of Baikeng. The fact that schools like Xiancheng's were allowed to participate in the joint exam was already the greatest regard from these 10 schools. Bai Lion scanned the names of these 10 schools of Baikeng. She just knitted her brows slightly. The Chinese language exam was challenging, but Bai Lion wrote quickly, her handwriting clear and well-ordered. This unique and stylish calligraphy drew the exam proctor's attention to the characters she penned on her answer sheet, so much that she didn't want to leave. The proctor stood by her side for a full 5 minutes. When she realized what she was doing, she hurried away, fearing she might be putting too much pressure on the student. After returning to her desk, she then looked towards Bai Lion. The student remained seated upright, unhurriedly flipping over the answer card. Even the proctor's long presence by her side hadn't affected her pace. Admiring Bai Lion's composure, the proctor internally exclaimed with admiration. Although Lu Lingxi had already given Class 15 a heads-up, they still gathered at lunch to complain about the joint exam's difficulty. "I didn't understand the poetry analysis at all," Zhang Shais complained over a mouthful of food. "And the essay, what was that even about? Was it just telling us to study hard?" The essay was several lines of classical Chinese, meant to guide the theme, which Zhang Shais hadn't understood. "Idiot," Wang Qi scoffed the moment he finished. "It was telling you to behave yourself." Zhang Shais thought Wang Qi was just teasing him until Ning Xiao nodded at him, leaving Zhang Shais speechless. "I heard," Pu Ziohen said with furrowed brows, sharing news she overheard from the teachers during the exam, "that we won't have joint exams at the end of the semester." "That's great news," Zhang Shai's eyes lit up. "But why?" Ning Xiao spoke calmly. "Baikeng's top 10 schools don't want us to join them anymore." Upon hearing this explanation, Zhang Shais was taken aback, frowning. "I admit I'm not smart, but you guys are." Even Wang Qi, who had wanted to tease Zhang Shais again, fell silent, scratching his head. "Are we dragging them down?" They all knew about the school's special training class. Everyone in there was outstanding. "It has nothing to do with you," Ning Xiao shook his head. At noon, a guilty Zhang Shais was unusually vested in his math book. Of course, he couldn't understand a thing. Smiling in the afternoon, it was time for math. Even the likes of Lian Ningxiao and Chen Zhu couldn't help but groan upon receiving the test. Bai Keng's idea of setting questions was, if it doesn't kill you, make it brutally hard. The level of difficulty was about this. Please state how many stars there are in the galaxy and calculate their numbers and positions. Many students were brought to tears by the difficulty. The last problem was an unusual function question with a couple of simple parts, asking for the range of values for under different conditions of the function. The question was short, and the shorter the question, the harder it was. Of course, more people didn't even get a chance to glance at the last 3 big questions. Bai Lion finished the math exam with 10 minutes to spare. She reviewed the test from beginning to end before submitting it. The proctor, sitting with his legs crossed on the podium, was surprised to see Bai Lion turn in her test, thinking she couldn't do it. He lifted his chin towards her, motioning her to place her answer card on the pile. After Bai Lion left, he glanced at the test paper. When he turned to the second page, he was somewhat stunned. This student had actually completed it all. But being a history teacher, even if Bai Lion had finished, he couldn't understand it. After Bai Lion submitted her test, no other students had come out of the school yet. She took her pen and paper to the milk tea shop. Through the glass, she saw Jiang He and Jiang Fulai sitting face to face. Jiang Fulai still had a laptop in front of him, his eyelashes drooping as he browsed through files on the screen, the cold profile of his face visible through the window. His pale fingertips tapped on the laptop keyboard, exuding an air of casual aloofness. Possibly sensing someone's gaze, he glanced outside for a moment, raising his eyebrows. "You haven't been too busy the last couple of days," Bai Lion said as she pushed open the beaded curtain and entered, the sound of the wind chimes echoing softly. She casually took a seat beside Jiang He and leaned back. Jiang Fulai pushed the 4 books near his hand toward Bai Lion, his tone indifferent. "I wanted to congratulate you in person." Bai Lion then remembered the congratulations he had sent her the day before. She nodded her head and looked down at the 4 books. 2 were Jiangjing University textbooks on chemistry and biology. The other 2 were question banks from Jiangjing High. "I've worked through the 2 question banks before," Jiang Fulai said, his fingertips thoughtlessly tapping the table. "They're decent." If he described them as decent, the question banks must be quite good. "How did the exams go?" he asked casually about the joint test. Bai Lion propped one hand on the books and grabbed an unopened milk tea from the table with the other. Her response was nonchalant. "Easy." She made the most arrogant statement with the laziest poise. The last question in math finally reached the difficulty level of the Jiangjing University app. Jiang Fulai was well aware of her recent success in acing the math and physics questions on the app. Otherwise, why would someone come knocking on her door? Is your app blocking messages? Right, Bai Lion replied as she inserted a straw and took a sip, her voice steady and unrushed. There's a quantum mechanics teacher who wants to find you, Jiang Fulai guessed with a reluctant expression, but he knew where Bai Lion's interests lay. His physics and quantum mechanics are very good. Bai Lion's eyes shone brightly. Compared to you? Jiang Zhongyou listened from the side, her forehead twitching, knowing only she would dare use young Master Jiang as a unit of measure. Second only to me, young Master Jiang smiled. After getting Bai Lion's approval, Jiang Fulai opened his phone and tapped open a chat. The conversation still showed the other person's messages. She's ignoring me, she's still ignoring me, damn, she didn't even read it. Jiang Fulai looked at it several times, then replied to him leisurely. Young Master Jiang, really? Dean Ma. Yeah, you have no idea, she's colder than you crying. Young Master Jiang. Can't be young Master Jiang. Image. Young Master Jiang. Look, she's following me, Dean Ma. After enjoying the moment, young Master Jiang arrogantly slid Bai Lion's business card over. At the other end of the phone, Dean Ma, Jiangjing High School. The principal thought about it all night and still couldn't figure it out. At this moment, he summoned the biology and chemistry teachers for a meeting. Did you not set the questions correctly? Is there a mistake? The teachers all had looks that said, are you talking nonsense? We reviewed the questions ourselves, how could there be a mistake? Those who teach here all have their capabilities. Naturally, they wouldn't allow such defamation from the principal. They answered with complete confidence. I thought the same. The principal placed his hand on the table and silently looked up. But last night, the Jiang family butler came to me for the chemistry and biology question banks. It was young Master Jiang who specifically asked for them. The teacher who had just spoken's cup trembled as he adjusted his glasses with some effort. Hold on, there might really be a mistake. Let's go back and check. Baikeng High School. The students here didn't have it easy after the math exam either. Bai Shaoqi scored 3 places behind Song Min, sitting 3 seats behind him. After the bell rang, she just finished the penultimate major question. The teacher was collecting the papers and, seeing her still writing, passed her by to collect the others first, then gently reminded, it's time to hand in your papers. Bai Shaoqi handed her paper to the teacher. Then she began packing her things. Song Min was waiting for her at the door. Bai Shaoqi sighed. Did you do the last question? No, Song Min shook his head. The calculations in the previous ones took too much time. I only just read the last question. If he had enough time, he probably could have done the last question. The questions for every joint exam of the top 10 schools were very difficult, created by a team of teachers from the National College Entrance Examination and Competitions, hired by Baikeng for a hefty fee. Although difficult, the questions covered a broad range of knowledge points. Each question was a classic. You two are really something else, someone aside muttered. I didn't even get a clear look at the second to last question. But now that it's all over, how many points do you think you got? Let's be clear, this time I'm betting on you, Songmin, for first place. I'm betting on Shaoqi. Anyway, it's either him or me, Bai Shaoqi said amusedly. Do you guys want to bet every time? It's the fun of it. Songmin accompanied Bai Shaoqi to the Bai family to retrieve the jade pendant. Bai Kaiming was offering incense in the clan hall. Upon hearing Bai Shaoqi coming back, he hurriedly came out. Shaoqi, I'll accompany you to Jiangjing tomorrow. No need, Bai Shaoqi refused. At the side, a clan elder objected. No way, Shaoqi, this is a big matter for our Bai family. That's Dean Jian, and you've passed his first interview. Kaiming must go with you. Bai Shaoqi wasn't surprised by their attitude. The butler returned Song Min's jade pendant to him, one half of the white jade dragon and phoenix ring pendant. Seeing the familiar pendant, Song Min breathed a sigh of relief. On the side, Bai Kaiming and the clan elder knew what the pendant was. They sat down on the couch, picked up their teacups, pretending they hadn't seen it. Compared to Bai Lion, they preferred Bai Shaoqi to take over the marriage affairs. Only the butler hesitantly spoke up. I heard the eldest young miss plays the Guzheng quite well, and it seems she's also switched to science. This was when he saw Jai Mulin's friend circle. Switch to the liberal art stream. Bai Shayaki, who had been silent all along, said with a sly smile. Song Min was also very silent. Bai Kaiming thought of the incident when Bai Lion was kicked out of the top class and frowned. His granduncle was chuckling as he tried to smooth things over. Oh, does she play better than Shayaki? The butler chuckled awkwardly. How could they even compare? All right. Bai Shayaki turned to go upstairs. Don't compare me with just anyone. Of course, miss. You've already passed the first round of interviews with Dean Jian. How can anyone compare with that? Knowing he'd said too much, the butler hastily changed the subject. Nobody present was interested in Bai Lion's current life. Behind them, Bai Kaiming watched Bai Shayaki's departing back with increasing satisfaction and said to Song Min, Aren't you two having a joint exam in the next few days? Last year, Shayaki's older brother was Bai Keng's top scholar. This year, it's all up to you. Thursday. Science in the morning. Bai Lion stared at the large science exam paper before her, first skipping over chemistry and biology to finish physics. Physics was as difficult as math, but she completed it quite swiftly. Only after finishing physics did she leisurely start to look for biology questions. She was best at genetics, and having spent the entire day practicing, she even managed to solve some particularly tricky ones. After finishing all the questions she knew how to do, only chemistry remained. She fell silent for a moment, then looked at the first question. Polycarbonate bisphenol A with excellent optical properties is prepared by the following reaction. Bai Lion. What is this? Goodbye. It was still early, and she couldn't hand in her paper this much ahead of time. She decisively set the science exam paper aside and took out some draft paper to begin writing down the chemical equations she had reviewed the night before. Jiang Fulai had said there was no need to rush through practice questions for chemistry. First, memorize all the equations. She wrote down all the chemical elements, then wrote everything from the reaction between sodium chloride and sodium hydroxide to the passivation phenomenon. Only after finishing writing, when it was time to hand in the paper, did she go up and submit her answer sheet. In the afternoon, after the English exam was over, nobody from Class 15 had left. They were all in the classroom, waiting for Lu Lingxi to come back and take them out for hot pot. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, when Lu Lingxi arrived, the principal was meeting with someone from the Board of Education. Miss Lu, your timing is perfect, the principal said with a headache as he saw Lu Lingxi and immediately got up. Please tell Director Pan, how is Ning Xiao expected to score in this exam? Director Pan also looked at Lu Lingxi with hope. After pondering for a moment, for she had asked Ning Xiao, she said, He didn't finish the last question in math. It's probably only about 122 points, and he's average in the other subjects. Director Pan was the head of the Office of the Ministry of Education in charge of education in Xiangcheng. He had also received reports about Bai Keng's big move. It would be the final joint exam. Hearing that Ning Xiao scored only 122 in math, he was quite worried. That's a big gap. It's doubtful he'll make it into the top 20 of Bai Keng. There was no way around it. The disparity in educational resources did exist. It was harder for them to get a spot at Jiangjing University's app than it was to reach heaven, even though Bai Keng High School got 10 spots without having to do anything. What about Chen Zhu? Director Pan remembered him. The principal shook his head. No good, he scored lower than Ning Xiao in this monthly exam. For a while, the atmosphere in the office turned silent once again. The principal picked up his teacup and took a sip, the cold tea sliding down his throat, calming him. It seems we can only withdraw from the joint exam. Lu Lingxi looked out the window. We just do our best. She said goodbye and left the office. For a moment, Director Pan's energy deflated and he stood up. I should also. Wait, the principal suddenly thought of something. There's actually another person. Who? Student Bai Lion in the last 2 monthly exams, she was first in both math and physics, full marks, the principal said as he put down his teacup with a clack. 150, Director Pan's eyes lit up. But student Bai Lion, the principal paused, her chemistry isn't very good. Director Pan's mood suddenly sank, his hesitation palpable. How much did she score in chemistry? 0, the principal said somberly. Ah, that. Director Pan's heart felt as if it had been swept away by the chill of an autumn breeze. Then that's no use. Can she even score higher than those students at Baikeng High School in math and physics? You have a point, the principal sighed. The two fell into silence again. Of course. They both thought the monthly exam questions from Xiangcheng were much easier than the 10 schools' joint exam. But when it came to the 10 schools' joint exam, the gap between Ningzhou, Chenzhou, and the students from Baikeng High School became quite clear. Naturally, they didn't know the 10 schools' joint exam questions were indeed very difficult. But could they be harder than the Jiangjing Preparatory Camps app? Bai Lion got 150 in math, 110 in physics for the monthly exam. That was only the limit of the paper, not the limit of her, by someone. A firepot restaurant next to the school. Lu Lingxi had reserved 3 private rooms in advance. Bai Lion, Ziohen, and others were all in the first private room, sitting around a large round table where a waitress was holding a menu for people to order. The menu and pen quickly reached Bai Lion. She glanced at the price of the half portion of beef rolls for 38 yuan. Her brow twitched. Then she calmly marked a green vegetable and plain noodles before passing the menu to the next person. Zhang Shais asked in a low voice, "How many pitchers of beer shall we order?" "No sneaking beer." Lu Lingxi's voice conveniently came from outside the door as she carried in a big bottle of milk and Sprite and placed them on the table. Zhang Shais, "Lu Mom, we are adults now." Lu Lingxi sneered, "So you think you've grown wings?" "Yes, I've grown wings." Zhang Shais stood up, slammed the table, and defied Lu Lingxi. "We real men don't drink such childish stuff like milk and Sprite." Then turning to the waitress, he said, "Beauty, bring us a bottle, no, 2 bottles of cola." "Ha ha ha, who is like you?" Wang Qi turned his head away, "At least order a pitcher of beer." "These noticeable packages," said Pu Ziohen very speechlessly to Bai Lion, "really undermine Lu Mom's sophistication." The waitress, amused by such a group of handsome men and beautiful women in one private room, giggled. All right, I'll bring you 3 bottles and 1 on the house from our boss, plus a big plate of fruit." "That's too much, your boss will scold you," Pu Ziohen worried. The waitress blinked. "Shouldn't be a problem, right? If he scolds me, I'll just tell my grandma." She had her grandma to cover her back. Pu Ziohen exclaimed, "Ah," as she realized that the beauty was working at her family's firepot restaurant. My apologies. Lu Lingxi went to remind the other private rooms as well. Since there were many people and a large volume of dishes, and it was a restaurant, the place was very busy. While waiting for the hot pot at Bai Lion's table, they started playing a game of werewolf kill. It was Ning Zio and Bai Lion's first time taking part in a class entertainment activity, and everyone was quite excited. Bai Lion had never heard of the game, but after Ziohen explained it to her and searched it up on her phone for her, Bai Lion more or less understood it. In the first round, Bai Lion, Ning Zio, Zhang Shais, and the sports committee member each received a werewolf card. Discounting the other 2, Bai Lion and Ning Zio exchanged looks. They knew the outcome of the game was already decided. Ziohen was the first to speak. "Good person card, no information the first night, waiting for the prophet to come out." The prophet card was held by the cultural committee member. She spoke clearly and logically, but since there were not many others speaking yet, she just called for votes and affirmed Ziohen's good person identity. Then it was the turn of those who stood out. Zhang Shais, as the first werewolf to speak, was very righteous. "I am a good person. I believe the cultural committee member is the prophet. Everyone vote with me for the cultural committee member." Bai Lion, Ning Zio, and the sitting good people. 6. As a werewolf card holder, Ning Zio sacrificed a teammate. Prophet card. "The cultural committee member is a werewolf who jumped out aggressively with me. Zhang Shais is the charge wolf. Let's vote out the aggressive jumper today and go for the charge wolf tomorrow morning. I'll verify Bai Lion tonight. If she has high intelligence and is a werewolf, she needs to be voted out sooner. And if she is a good person, all the better. Even if I am killed tonight, I believe she can lead the team." Ning Zio neatly killed himself off that night, giving the sheriff badge to Bai Lion. The god cards and villager cards doubted each other and dragged each other down. Bai Lion wasn't suspected by anyone from start to finish, struck whoever she pointed at, and the werewolf team was invincible. Until the game ended, Yang Lin, who was the witch card, still couldn't believe it, lifting her head to look at Bai Lion, hesitating. Because she trusted Bai Lion's judgment, she poisoned the hunter card. Even after the results were out, she still couldn't believe that the hunter card was a good person. "No way," shouted Wang Qi, the hunter card, protesting the injustice, completely bamboozled by Bai Lion's logic. "Bai sister, you and Student God are on the same team. How are we, the good people, supposed to play? There's no way around it. I was practically offering myself to be voted out, and you still lost." Zhang Shai's was excessively smug, not considering it shameful, but rather a badge of honor. "That's your own problem," Pu Ziohan said somberly. "Yeah, you such a good person." Wang Qi immorally shared this joke with the class group. The people of Class 15 were about to die laughing at this good person. Others even tagged Zhang Shai's in the group chat, asking him to change his group nickname to a good person. Bai Lion didn't really move her chopsticks much, only blanched a few greens she had ordered and leisurely twirled her legs as she ate noodles. Later, it turned out she did the right thing because Pu Ziohan was flipping the beef rolls in the pot with public chopsticks, scanning the group. "Whose meat is this?" "Not me." This person's eyes darted away. Zhang Shai's, stroking his stomach, spoke up warily. "Neither is it mine." "Your intestines, you eat them," someone was accusing another. "Don't talk nonsense, this damn thing is clearly your intestines." The group jostled and shoved each other, full of suspicion and blame. Oh, not a single person dared to admit that the meat in the pot was theirs. In the end, Bai Lion and Yang Lin cleared up after everyone, and there was practically no food left in their private room. Lu Lingxi was surprised when she came to check on them. School was still in session on Friday, so after the meal, the group of high school seniors dispersed. As the evening drew in, Lu Lingxi arranged for the students to go home. "Remember to report in the group chat once you're home." Bai Lion and Yang Lin walked at the back. Bai Lion hadn't brought her backpack that day. The hot pot restaurant was warm, and she hadn't put on her school uniform, just casually carrying it. "Do you know where your family's household registration book is?" Yang Lin was slightly startled. She tilted her head, her thick bangs nearly covering her eyes, revealing only her pallid face. She opened her mouth as if to say something but ultimately didn't speak, simply following Bai Lion and continuing to walk slowly forward. Bai Lion seemed to have brought it up casually. There were no further questions after that. Yang Lin let out a sigh of relief. Zhang Shai's house was near the school, and he walked home. Opening the door, he saw Yan Lu and his mother sitting at a table eating. Zhang Shai's dad had been away on a business trip for several days, and he had grown accustomed to his dad being gone for a month at a time. "Taking advantage of my absence, the two of you sneakily enjoyed so much delicious food." Zhang Shai's looked incredulously at the full table of dishes. "Mom!" His mother rarely cooked, to the point that he had to buy breakfast for her every morning even though he got up early. Zhang's mom rolled her eyes and then looked at Yan Lu with a smiling face. "Xiaolu, go ahead and eat. Don't mind this fool." She picked up a peeled shrimp for Yan Lu with her own chopsticks. Yan Lu nodded and ate without hesitation, and the two didn't use public chopsticks as they dined. Zhang's mom would ask about her work. The two families had known each other since they were young, and Zhang's mom had always been fond of girls, treating the girl next door, Yan Lu, as her own daughter. After Yan Lu saved 5-year-old Zhang Shai's when she was 9, her treatment was more than 3 times better than his. However, when Yan Lu was 12 and her parents died, Zhang's mom really wanted to adopt her, but she was taken away by distant relatives and rarely returned to Xiangcheng after that. The relatives were quite wealthy, and Zhang's mom didn't want to hold back Yan Lu's future, so the family sent her away. But they kept in touch over the years. Zhang's mom really wanted Yan Lu to stay now that she had finally returned. However, Yan Lu was now a somewhat famous star, so she had to reluctantly give up on that idea. After dinner, Yan Lu received a phone call from her agent, Sister Xin. "Why didn't you come to tonight's charity dinner?" Sister Xin was very surprised and also troubled. "Why do I feel like you have such a grudge against President Liu? He's a shareholder of Time Entertainment and your big boss, an upright and kind-hearted man. Yan Lu, even if you're a germaphobe, you should at least make an appearance for appearance's sake." Yan Lu stood in a garden full of flowers, not knowing which words touched a nerve. Her left hand hanging by her side clenched fiercely into her palm, her eyes filled with intense hatred. "I won't go again. Sorry, Sister Xin, please find another artist." She abruptly ended the call. "Ah," Zhang Shi's was startled when Yan Lu turned around suddenly. He touched his head and then handed her the flower he was holding. "Here, Yan's sister, these iris flowers just came in today. I picked the prettiest one for you." Beneath the moonlight, the iris flower was as white and pure as snow. Yan Lu looked down at the white iris flower for a long time. "Thank you." She gently accepted the flower. After Bai Lion returned, the lights in Jai Heng's yard were bright. Director Chen had made sure to switch out for super bright lights for Jai Heng, so he could work on his embroidery in the yard even at night. It wouldn't strain the eyes. Lance visited every day to check on the progress of the clothes Jai Heng was making for him, and, incidentally, to wait for Bai Lion to perform acupuncture on him. The clothes he wanted were extremely complex in their craftsmanship. Jai Heng had already embroidered 2 golden dragons, and during the daytime, a neighboring aunt who knew embroidery would come to help out, so he was making swift progress. Bai Lion, as usual, finished giving Lance his acupuncture before heading back to her room. She turned on her phone and began searching for traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, practitioner qualification certificates. Getting certified wasn't easy, the first requirement being a diploma from a school of Chinese medicine and having internship experience. The hot pot was served quickly. With over a dozen people at the table, they split into 2 pots. She continued to look down, noticing that the Chinese medicine exam consisted of 4 subjects. The first one was the foundational theory of Chinese medicine along with herbal medicine, which wasn't a problem. But then she saw internal medicine of Western medicine. Doom, Bai Lion looked up, pondering that this certificate was not absolutely necessary to pursue. She wasn't really a formal practitioner of Chinese medicine. She had only been taught a few sets of acupuncture by the Imperial Physician. When she was in the military, she had frequently practiced by giving acupuncture to the soldiers. She searched for acupuncture therapy certification. Not bad, this was a certificate she could accept. Back to WeChat. She noticed an addition to her friend requests, a new person's card, Ma Tengfeng by classmate, image by classmate. Jiang Fulai replied quickly, "It's him." Bai Lion went back and clicked to accept the friend request. Ma Tengfeng's online name was his real name. Bai Lion. Smile. He must have been busy because it took him 5 minutes to see that Bai Lion had accepted. He hastily replied to her message. "Your mathematical and physical logical reasoning are very good. Are you interested in physics?" Bai Lion indeed had an exceptional talent in mathematics and logic. In the past, when Bai Zhongyou and Chen, you were studying at the Imperial College. 16-year-old Bai Zhongyou would coerce 8-year-old Bai Lion to help him with his Imperial College homework. Bai Lion's clerical script was forcibly practiced from that time. When Chen Yi was 15, he skipped school to go horseback riding, and her 2 brothers forcibly dressed her up as a boy and made her go to the Imperial College in place of Chen Yi. Over time, the teachers at the Imperial College all knew she was being tormented by her 2 brothers. They basically turned a blind eye to it. That day's lesson happened to be on Zhou by Suan Jing, a required course of the Imperial College. She answered the questions fluently. It was the first time Liang Ziyuan noticed her. That was Bai Lion's first encounter with mathematics, and later on, she also became familiar with the 9 chapters on the mathematical art, the Pythagorean theorem, trigonometry, circle cutting. She knew them all. In her era, mathematics was leading the world, and Bai Lion was always very confident in her culture and in what she learned from Zhou by Suan Jing. Only chemistry. She was really starting from scratch. Bai Lion, write Ma Tengfeng. Link. He sent Bai Lion 3 links in a row. These are quite interesting, classmate. Dark matter is not at all fun. Quantum mechanics is the real essence. Smile. Bai Lion. Okay, smile. The 2 exchanged information amicably, both very satisfied with each other's smiles. All the citywide joint exam papers were scanned into computers and uploaded to the Baikeng education system. Finally, The grading was done uniformly on machines. The rules and regulations were nearly identical to the Gaokao. Everyone would log into the education system to check their scores and rankings. This was also a big event for the Baikeng education system. Grading exams would take 3 to 4 days, and the results would be tabulated and ranked by the system. By Monday, everyone could log into the system to check their scores. In most cases, each school would compile and re-rank the scores of their own students. Saturday, Jianzhong Music Academy. Bai Kaiming and Song Min both accompanied Bai Shayaki to attend the audition for Master Jian's disciples. Among the many candidates were not a few of Jianzhong's nobility. Bai Shayaki picked up her performance number, and although the three of them could move heaven and earth in Baikeng, here, they were no different from ordinary people. Only by jumping out of the fishbowl can one realize how big the world is. Inside sources say that Master Jian's disciples will shrink from 2 to just 1 this year, whispered a beautifully dressed woman ahead, talking with the young man beside her. The young man was shocked. Just 1. Spots were already tight. How come it suddenly changed to only 1? I heard that 1 spot has already been decided. A group of people were discussing the latest news. Bai Kaiming quickly turned to Song Min. Do you know about this? It was no secret that Song Min's mother was from Jiangzhong, and the Song family's information network was always ahead of any in Baikeng. I had no idea. Song Min shook his head. The Song family was not all-powerful. In this circle, the information disparity was controlled by a few. The Song family from Baikeng just took advantage of the fact that Song Min's mother was from Jiangzhong. She would know many policies in advance, as well as news about education and economics. However, compared to those who were truly in the upper echelons of Jiangzhong, the Song family's informational advantage was insignificant. Only 1 spot. Bai Kaiming looked at Bai Shayaki, knowing the chances were slim but still offering encouragement. Perform well, even if Master Jian doesn't notice you, there will be other teachers who will value you. Bai Shayaki went in carrying her instrument. She played a perfect rendition of Master Jian's signature piece, The White-Robed Journey. She was very skillful, and her emotion was exactly right. Several teachers around nodded. Very good, has the makings of a concert master. Master Jian, sitting in the center, also nodded slightly after listening, uttering a hum and gave her 80 points. Bai Shayaki had always been composed. Hearing this high score, she was overjoyed, showing happiness for the first time. Thank you, teachers, she bowed. Exiting the hall, the looks in Bai Kaiming and Song Min's eyes were full of anticipation. She nodded slightly, her demeanor modest yet calm. Master Jian gave me 80 points. He said I have the makings of a concert master. It wasn't the highest score of the day, but it was definitely within the top 5 of Master Jian's scores. Many students and parents nearby couldn't help but come over to chat and make friends upon hearing this. 80 points, you're quite impressive. You're sure to get into Master Jian's academy. If she couldn't become his personal disciple, entering his academy was more than sufficient. Suddenly, the previously ignored trio of Bai Shayaki were surrounded by many wanting to befriend them and add them as friends. Bai Kaiming finally puffed up his chest. He smiled as he added quite a few Jianzhong business parents as friends. Then he shared the great news with the Bai family clan. The Bai family clan immediately lit incense and set off firecrackers in the ancestral hall. The clan's great-uncle even offered incense to the ancestors, murmuring a prayer. These 2 siblings are truly dragons and phoenixes among men, bringing great honor to our Bai family. Having their names recorded in the city's history is just around the corner. It was fortunate that you visited them 3 times that day to bring these siblings back, commented the clan leader admiringly. At that time, he had not favored the illegitimate children, but now he had to admit the great-uncle's vision was extraordinary. You indeed have foresight. The Bai family boasts a top scholar and will soon have an artist as well. You shouldn't have gotten involved when Kaiming and Jai Mulin divorced, the great-uncle lectured him. Luckily, Shayaki didn't bear a grudge, or else we would have lost out much more. As for Bai Lion and Jai Mulin, they had long been forgotten. Jianzhong Music Academy. Bai Shayaki received a flood of congratulatory calls and messages from the Bai family. Bai Kaiming also sent red packets in the group chats and boasted on his social media. Meanwhile, in the concert hall, Master Jian Zhongyou, waiting for the next performer, couldn't help but take out his phone and sent a private message to a blogger. Hello, did she agree today? Nowadays, very few men learn to play the Guzheng. Most people seem to equate the Guzheng with femininity. But Jian Zhongyou is one of the men who study Guzheng, and despite being called effeminate as a child for it, he never allowed others' words to define him. Throughout history, there have always been male figures among the Guzheng masters. He rose to fame because of the white-robed journey, and from skepticism to the present, his journey has been arduous and long. He understands the piece very well. Today, many students performed the white-robed journey, but compared to what he had seen in the video, something was always missing. The video where one eats a big bowl of noodles, the girl playing in it might not be fluent, and her technique could even be considered rusty. But only Jian Zhongyou knew the emotions she poured into this piece. Dazzling, splendid, yet ultimately fading to silence. To make friends through music. If guided properly, Jian Zhongyou believed she could play this piece to perfection. Valuing and loving talent, he was unwilling to give up on such a promising young plant. He would rather inquire daily. One day, he would move this future music academy's prime student. The next student to perform was ready, and Jian Zhongyou put down his phone to listen seriously to the performance. When Pu Ziohen sent Bai Lion a screenshot of Jian Zhongyou's message. Bai Lion had just finished a meeting with the Calligraphy Association. Jiang Fulai was discussing financial issues with Qiu Zuzhang, who had specially interviewed someone to take charge of the association's finances. Bai Lion sat to the side, not quite understanding, so she turned on her phone and worked on practice problems. While replying to Pu Ziohen, understood Jiang Fulai sat by the octagon table, while Jiang he did not wish to stay with him, learning calligraphy outside with a group of children instead. Qiu Zuzhang flipped through his notes, then suddenly looked up, somewhat excited. They've drawn up a new bus route across the street, and it's going to start service next week. This matter had not been fully announced yet, and many businessmen had bought up a bunch of properties in advance, waiting to sell them after the new bus line opened. Qiu Zuzhang was also privy to this news. Jiang Fulai was not surprised by this information. Xiancheng Culture and Tourism Bureau had good planning. He rested his left hand on the table, casually leaning against the chair back, appearing languid yet erect, while flipping through the financial report of the association with his distinctively jointed hand, closing the report. It's almost there, and in the future there will be high-speed rail too. Ah, really? This news was genuinely new to Qiu Zuzhang. He sat up with a jolt. The thought of Xiancheng being connected by high-speed rail was beyond his wildest dreams. Jiang Fulai responded indifferently. He had seen the plan, and the document wasn't issued yet. It was held up in Jiangxing, and very few people knew about it. Jiang Fulai, curious about Xiancheng, had asked someone to check it out. He handed the notebook back to Qiu Zuzhang casually. Qiu Zuzhang wanted to ask whether Jiang Fulai had actually read through all those pages of notes, but he truly didn't dare to ask. Jiang Fulai flipped through his phone, which showed several unread messages from Ma Tengfeng. Dean Ma, she is very polite and even sends me smiles, but he had sent Bai Lion several messages about quantum mechanics research, and she had not expressed her views on it. Dean Ma was really anxious. Even Jiang Fulai would occasionally indulge him, painting a pie in the sky, saying he would find him after finishing research on dark matter. Bai Lion, not drawing any pie at all, seemed even more like an old man than he did. Dean Ma, polite and aloof, not much of a talker. Dean Ma, can you ask her what she thinks for me? Jiang Fulai took a casual glance and replied leisurely, how do you know she bought me milk tea today? Image. There was no helping it. Young Master Jiang couldn't find anyone else to show off to. Jiang Zionia would bring out an even bigger cup of fruit tea. Ming Dingheng simply couldn't understand. Director Chen. He would go fishing with Jai Heng every day and even fraternized with Jai Sheijun as brothers. Young Master Jiang felt irritated just looking at him. After going through the list, only Dean Ma was left. Dean Ma. On the other end of the phone, Dean Ma was speechless. Is there something wrong with young Master Jiang? After downing a large glass of water to calm himself, Dean Ma, not daring to curse, decided to ask about something else. Did you do something to the affiliated middle school? Jiang Fulai, Dean Ma. They came to me today, asking if there's something wrong with the chemistry and biology question banks that they missed. With one glance, Jiang Fulai knew what was going on. No, I borrowed them to do practice problems, Dean Ma. Great, even when not in Jiangjing, Jiang Fulai could still randomly scare some people to death. The people from the affiliated high school hadn't slept well for 2 days, checking all the problems one by one. Be a person. Thank you. Jiang Fulai put away his phone after replying and glanced at Bai Lion. Shall we take a look next door? Next door was the closed Zingy martial arts school. It was exactly what Bai Lion wanted. When the two reached the door next door, a dark-skinned, middle-aged man was shooing away 2 men in suits. Scram, I'm not selling. It was nearing November, and the weather had turned cool. Most people were wearing coats. The middle-aged man was still in a t-shirt, and when he lifted his arm, the well-defined muscles were visible, his eyes were sharp, and at a glance, one could tell he was a powerful martial artist. He glanced at Bai Lion and Jiang Fulai. Are you here to buy the property too? I'm not selling. No, Hall Master Jin. Bai Lion just smiled. We just want to see what the old martial arts school looked like. Today was Saturday, and Bai Lion was wearing a light brown pleated skirt with a loose jacket of the same color series, lazy and relaxed, only embroidered with delicate white auspicious cloud patterns at the cuffs and neckline. Her long hair was still casually tied up behind her head. Her appearance was always deceptive, polite and modest, winning the affection of elders. Even Hall Master Jin was no exception. I haven't been the Hall Master for a long time. Hall Master Jin opened the door, letting them in. Feel free to look around. The Zingy Martial Arts School was much larger than the Calligraphy Association. Upon entering the school, there was a huge practice ground. To the right of the practice ground were 8 rows of wooden posts, 10 in each row, spaced 1 meter apart, with 3 stone tables behind them and stone stools stacked next to them. A large space was left open. In the middle was a 1 meter wide flagstone path, with grass growing in the cracks between the stones. To the left was a practice ground enclosed by stone bricks, with 2 rows of weapon racks near the surrounding wall where weapons used to be placed, but now they were empty. Following the flagstone path straight ahead, one could see a porch, and walking through it revealed many rooms on both sides. There were changing rooms, meditation rooms, sandbag rooms. Passing this long corridor, one could see the accommodations in the back, with a well. Hall Master Jin lived in the corner and was drawing water, with huge dormitories on both sides. This indicated how prosperous the martial arts school once was. After looking around, Bai Lion and Jiang Fulai politely said their goodbyes. What do you think? Jiang Fulai opened the gate, slightly bowed his head and asked. Bai Lion shook her head, stretching out her hand to shade the sunlight in front of her eyes, and spoke softly. I'll ask around some more. She still didn't know how the martial arts school had gone under. Monday. All the high schools in Baikeng were tallying student scores. Xiancheng High School was no exception. The principal had arrived at the school early and convened a meeting with the homeroom teachers. Teacher Lu, as soon as Lu Lingxi arrived, the principal and head of education urged her. Quick, see how many points Ning Zhao from your class got. Lu Lingxi knew they were anxious. Sitting in front of the computer, she logged in with her homeroom teacher ID, retrieved the class student scores, and directly searched for Ning Zhao in the search bar. The page kept spinning. Today, all the high schools in Baikeng were pulling up scores, and the Baikeng Education Network was clearly overwhelmed. It took nearly a minute to display. Name: Ning Zhao. Subject: Score, ranking Chinese, 122, 74 Math, 121, 5 English, 131, 109 Science Comprehensive, 248, 25 total score. 632, rank, 31. The principal was startled by the ranking and couldn't help exclaiming. This ranking showed the overall ranking for the entire Baikeng. Last time during the joint exams, Ning Zhao was still ranked outside the top 100, and now he suddenly soared to 31. Could this match up with that international class of Baikeng? The director of studies also couldn't help but speak up. They all knew about the international class of Baikeng High School, with a total of 40 students, the most competitive school in Baikeng, with several students getting into Jiangzheng University each year. Hearing this, other teachers looked over. How did his grades improve so quickly? Chenzhou is only ranked 80, right? There had never been a student from Xiancheng in the top 50, and today was the first time. A bunch of teachers were extremely excited. Look at his math, top 5, and the natural sciences comprehensive also in the top 30. 121 points, said the head of the math department while adjusting his glasses. I heard that Song Min got 130 in math. Ning Xiao isn't much behind him. Right, top 5. Not many from the international class of Baikeng High School can match Ning Xiao, the director of studies said, looking at the principal with excitement. You ask Director Pan, is this score decent enough? In the next joint exams, will Baikeng still provide us with resources? Never had there been a student in Xiancheng who ranked in the top 10 in any subject. Ning Xiao was the first, top 5 in math. What did that mean? Even in Baikeng High School, this was 1 in 10,000. The principal knew this, of course, as he stared at the page and called Director Pan, feeling that this time they might truly have a chance. Lu Lingxi was also startled by Ning Xiao's results. People were congratulating Lu Lingxi with looks of particular envy. Being able to mentor a student who ranked in the top 31 of the whole Baikeng, it wasn't just an honor for the school, but also for Xiancheng. Only the homeroom teacher of Class 8, looking at Lu Lingxi, suddenly spoke up. Search for student by Lion. Oh! Lu Lingxi snapped back to her senses and started to search for Bai Lion's name. She pressed the enter key. The web page was still loading. The other teachers were much more relaxed than before. Student Bai, her chemistry is a bit weak. Not sure how she did in math. Last time she scored 5 points more than Ning Xiao in math. Ning Xiao missed a multiple-choice question. Could she also be in the top 10 in math? One teacher boldly speculated. Most teachers didn't know much about Bai Lion, but they knew she was a girl. I doubt that. I feel Bai is good at Chinese, and this time math was so hard. She can't have scored higher than Ning Xiao. Everyone was guessing casually when Lu Lingxi chuckled. She knew Bai Lion very well. Don't underestimate girls, okay? Just watch. Student Bai Lion might even have a score of 120 in math. After all, it was rumored that Song Min only had 130. Lu Lingxi knew her students well but didn't think about competing with someone like Song Min. As they spoke, swoosh, Bai Lion's results came up. Name, Bai Lion subject. Score, rank Chinese, 150. 1 math, 150. 1 English, 126. 137 natural sciences comprehensive, 182. 966 total score. 608 rank. 97 beneath the computer screen. These few lines of scores were so clear. The several teachers who were still joking, including Lu Lingxi, were motionless. They just silently looked at the first 2 lines, Chinese, 150, 1 math, 150, 1. The principal, who was on the phone with Director Pan, naturally saw it too and went silent in an instant. The whole classroom was as quiet as could be. For about a minute, the usually refined homeroom teacher of Class 8 quietly uttered a word. Damn. With his call, a small number of people also came to their senses. Is she that good at math? No, which school did she transfer from? So freakish. Now Baikeng High School is going to be interesting. Not to mention the homeroom teacher of Class 8, even Lu Lingxi was particularly shocked. Just Bai Lion's overall ranking in the top 97 was enough to shock people, let alone her Chinese and mathematics scores. First place, perfect score. Either one would be enough to dominate the field. Lu Lingxi had always known that Bai Lion was very good at Chinese. This time, the classical Chinese reading was obscure, and the essay was even more bizarre. Many students in the school misunderstood the meaning of their essay, seriously deviating from the topic. Bai Lion's 150 in Chinese was beyond her expectation, but not too surprising. For Bai Lion's palace-style calligraphy was a significant bonus, but a 150 in the joint exam for mathematics. In Xiancheng, that was simply a science fiction event. She had always thought that Bai Lion's math was on par with Ning Xiao. Ning Xiao's rapid progress in math this time, reaching the top 5 in Baikeng, had already blown away all the teachers in the office. And there was Bai Lion, silently dealing everyone a crushing blow. "Hello," the principal stopped midway through speaking, and on the other end of the phone, Director Pan, unable to wait for him to finish, couldn't help but speak up. "Why have you stopped talking?" That question brought the principal back to reality. "Director Pan," the principal began solemnly, "I think, not just possibly, but we really have won this time." "I think so too." Director Pan was also excited. "Ning Xiao has improved too fast. Math in the top 5, such a talent is in high demand at Baikeng High School, right? If Ning Xiao were a senior, he would definitely make it into the provincial team." "No," the principal said after hearing him out. "There's more news now. Student Bai Lion scored perfect in both Chinese and math, first place." As the principal had anticipated, the voice on the other end of the phone instantly vanished. Director Pan could be heard breathing hurriedly. "She scored higher than Song Min." "Yes, Song Min got around 130 in math." At this moment, not just Xiancheng High School, but also the people in the Education Bureau office were extraordinarily excited. Director Pan hung up the phone, his eyes sparkling. "Contact Baikeng Education Bureau, and I remember Jianzhong University has a liberal arts-focused recruitment program, right?" Since the top scholar from Baikeng was admitted to Jianzhong University last year, it was all over the news. This year, all major colleges had heard of Song Min, and if there were no dark horses from Baikeng next year, he was the certain top scorer, especially in math. Before today, no one thought that anyone could surpass him in math. Yet Bai Lion rose unexpectedly in this joint exam. As for poor performance in science, not a big issue. Jianzhong University's liberal arts-focused recruitment program is designed for candidates with uneven academic strengths. Xiancheng had never seen anyone admitted to Jianzhong University before, so if they had the first one, they couldn't even begin to imagine how sensational it would be. Lu Lingxi printed the results and returned to class 15. The answer sheets were handed in to be scanned by the school, which had not yet been distributed, but their exam papers had not been handed in. The first period was Lu Lingxi's Chinese class. Most of the students did not do well on the Chinese exam, so she did not announce the grades but instead analyzed the papers. After finishing a period, her mood had finally eased. She called Bai Lion and Ning Xiao to the office to discuss their scores with them. This was the principal's request, to prevent them from getting too excited. The principal, unable to stop smiling, said, "Students, do you know how much you scored? Ning Xiao, you are 5th in Baikeng for math, and in the overall top 30. And you, Bai Lion, are even more impressive, 1st in Baikeng for math." He rattled off everything, but he found the two in front of him unresponsive. "Oh," Ning Xiao looked up, his tone quite calm. Wearing a simple school uniform, Bai Lion with her clear and shallow eyes was more composed than Ning Xiao. "I understand. Thank you, Principal." "Principal." He couldn't help but turn to look at Lu Lingxi. "What's going on here?" "Look, did you two not hear what I said?" The principal tried to explain. "Ning Xiao, you are 5th in math in Baikeng, and Bai Lion, you scored perfect in both Chinese and math, 1st in Baikeng." Ning Xiao turned aloof. He nodded slightly, showing he understood. "Yes, perfect in Chinese and math, I heard it, thanks, Principal." Bai Lion recalled chemical formulas, then replied unhurriedly, "Principal." Lu Lingxi looked at the two children and couldn't help but smile, telling them to go back to class. Once they had left, the principal finally turned to Lu Lingxi, looking particularly disheveled. "It's just Teacher Lu, those two students. What's going on? They don't look happy at all. Aren't they excited? Didn't they know what these results meant?" Of course, the principal didn't understand. Ning Xiao had the apps exercises, and every weekend Jiang Fulai would go to the library to teach them the more challenging problems. And then there was Bai Lion, whose explanations were even more meticulous than Jiang Fulai's. Ranked 5th in Baikeng, These results were impressive in Xiangcheng and Baikang. But Ning Xiao knew that if young Master Jiang discovered he scored only around 120 on the joint exam, even failing to answer a major question entirely, he would definitely be scolded. This wasn't an exaggeration. Apart from Tang Ming, he was the worst student young Master Jiang had ever taught. Happy, excited. Right now, Ning Xiao was only worried about whether he'd be scolded tonight. He was in no mood for joy or excitement. As for Bai Lion, she had initially stood out among the many talents of the great Yang dynasty, accepted as a disciple by Liang Ziyuan in a special exception. Even today, people say of her, the great Yang dynasty owes her a position as the top scholar. Would she care about this? The two left with ease. The principal truly couldn't understand it, and turning to Lu Lingxi, he said, "I didn't even get to tell them about the Wen Chong plan." The Wen Chong plan was specifically designed by Jiangjing University for students with special talents. It involved interviews and written exams between October and November each year, and those who passed could be admitted to Jiangjing University with a 50-point deduction from their college entrance exam scores. If they performed exceptionally well, the reduction could be even greater. The principal had come specifically for this Wen Chong plan. But the reaction of these two students baffled him, and he let them go without saying a word about it. That works. The principal was dizzy with confusion. Suddenly, he felt, even if he had mentioned the Wen Chong plan to Bai Lion and Ning Xiao just now, their reactions would probably have been the same. "Oh. Thank you, principal, I understand." Thinking about this, the principal couldn't help but wipe his face. After all, it was best to leave such matters to Lu Lingxi. Baikang High School. International class. This class consisted of all top students. Competition created pressure, so when the results were released, the homeroom teacher immediately posted the printed score sheet on the left side of the blackboard. As soon as the scores came out, it wasn't Song Min and the others who were concerned, but rather a group who had privately placed bets. A bunch of them crowded to the left side of the blackboard to see the latest development in the math competition. From top to bottom, the homeroom teacher posted everyone's scores and overall rankings according to their positions. The first one was Song Min name. Song Min subject, score, ranking Chinese, 131, 5 math, 130, 2 English, 142, 3 science composite, 275, 1 total score, 678. One Song Min's deskmate wasn't surprised by Song Min's overall ranking. He just looked at Song Min's math score, turned around, and let out a tragic cry. "Brother Min, I admire you for scoring 130 on this kind of paper, but you've really disappointed me. The first place is actually Shayaki. Shayaki, you couldn't have gotten 135 in math, could you?" Most were startled to see that Song Min was second in math and began to exclaim. Aside from the major joint exams, Baikang High School had a monthly exam for the 10 schools in Baikang. In mathematics, Song Min and Bai Shayaki consistently ranked second and first respectively, a tradition at Baikang High School. Only a very few instinctively looked for Bai Shayaki's ranking. Name: Bai Shayaki subject, score, ranking Chinese, 133, 4 math, 126, 3 English, 137, 20 science composite, 259, 9 total score, 655, 3, "Hey," he blurted out subconsciously. "It's not Shayaki who's first either, her math is third." At this exclamation, not to mention those grouped on the left side of the blackboard, even the normally focused Song Min and Bai Shayaki turned to look in that direction. Song Min stood up, frowning. "She's third?" "Yes, who in our class had an exceptional performance, even surpassing Brother Min?" Song Min and Bai Shayaki exchanged glances. They both pushed back their chairs and walked to the left side of the podium to check the scores. The crowd whooshed aside, making way for Song Min and Bai Shayaki to view their math scores, then continued looking downward. The class had a 4th place, a 6th place, but no 1st place. Others were also wondering where the 1st place might be, because no one in international class had ever considered that this math 1st place could belong to someone else. Yet it was nowhere to be found. Aside from the two of them, the highest was 4th place with 123 points. So where was the first place? Without mention of first, where was fifth place? Baikenghai's international class was the most competitive in all of Baikeng and had the strongest teaching staff, especially since the international class homeroom teacher, a math teacher, had previously coached several IMO potential candidates. The class had nearly swept the top 10 in the province for math. Who exactly is in first place? Song Min's desk mate touched his head, incredulous. Min bro, your 130 is already freakish, but someone's even more freakish. How many points did they have to score? I'm going to find the homeroom teacher, Song Min decided on the spot. The homeroom teacher of the international class was in the office. He had applied to review the answer sheet of that top student as soon as the scores were released. Soon, the staff called him, saying the test paper had been retrieved. The answer sheet was retrieved from the machine, and to ensure fairness and justice, it did not display the school or the name. The homeroom teacher of the international class only saw a clean, neatly arranged test paper. All the multiple-choice questions were correct. All the fill-in-the-blank questions were correct. He paused for a moment, took the mouse, and clicked through to the major questions this student had answered. There were a total of 5 major math questions, and the first 3 were still fine. He had spent an entire weekend figuring out the last 2 questions and had even cross-referenced the answers. These 2 questions were beyond the syllabus of the international class, so he even prepared detailed explanations against the answers to make sure the students would understand. But seeing this student's answers, he even felt a sense of, so that's another way to solve it. The approach was different from the answers, and this student's method was even clearer and easier to understand. Pristine standard, every step of the reasoning was clearly written. 150. Perfect score. At first, he didn't know what the top score was and thought the other person was only a point or 2 above Song Min. He wondered who this dark horse was, but he never imagined it would be 150, a perfect score. Where on earth did this guy come from? Cheating. The homeroom teacher of the international class hadn't even considered it, not to mention the answer was different from the standard answer. The clarity of the logical process alone let him see the student's potential value. Principal. The homeroom teacher of the international class directly called the school principal. The Education Bureau can pull up information on the person who came first in math, right? Send me that guy's data. By the time Song Min and Bai Shayaki arrived, the homeroom teacher had just hung up the phone. I knew you two would come. The homeroom teacher took a deep breath. That first place 150, Song student by student, I can only say that you two didn't lose unfairly this time. 150. Song Min and Bai Shayaki exclaimed simultaneously. The homeroom teacher nodded. Yes, with a score that terrifying, I think. This guy's math might even match those from Jianzhong Affiliated Middle School. The name, Jianzhong Affiliated Middle School, might be very foreign to others, but the people from No One High School were well aware. Are you talking about Liang Wuyu and them? Song Min asked, almost in astonishment. Even with his confidence, he had never thought about comparing himself with Liang Wuyu and his peers. That was a natural gap. After all, the Liang family were top educational aristocrats, and the resources they had access to were different from the outset. But Song Min had also never imagined that this person with a 150 score would be so highly regarded in the eyes of the homeroom teacher. To be mentioned in the same breath as Liang Wuyu, teacher, who is he exactly? Song Min couldn't help but ask out of curiosity. Still checking. After all, the top 10 overall were from their class. He might be lopsided in his studies, the homeroom teacher explained. That was plausible, but for the time being, neither Song Min nor Bai Shayaki had the mind to worry about how this person was lopsided in their studies, because that score of 150 had both of them utterly disconcerted. When they returned to report to the class, and everyone heard the score of the first place, most of them exchanged looks. First place, 150. Second place, 130. Third place, 126. Some thoughts they dared not voice out loud. Isn't this a dimensionality reduction assault? Since when did such an incredible person appear? The homeroom teacher of the international class was also pondering this question until he finally received a phone call from the staff. The information and scores of the first-place student had been found. "Teacher, it has been sent to your email." The homeroom teacher quickly ended the call and logged into his email, indeed finding a new message. He clicked it open right away. The score of the student who had executed the dimensionality reduction assault sprang into his view. The information provided by the Education Bureau was precise, from the school to the homeroom teacher. Name, Bai Lion class, Xiancheng No. 1 High School, Senior Year Class 35 Homeroom Teacher, Lu Lingxi Student ID, 20,145. Subject, score, rank Chinese, 150, 1 Mathematics, 150. 1 The homeroom teacher of the international class spotted the 2 rank 1 students in the first 2 rows at a glance. He refocused on the name column, Bai Lion. "This name," he frowned, "is identical to that Bai family member." The Bai family had previously used their connections to send Bai Lion into his class, where she became the laughing stock on the first day of school. In high school already, she knew nothing when asked, hindering the progress of the international class. He couldn't stand it for a day and immediately transferred her to the liberal arts class. It must be a coincidence in names. It was unexpected that she was also a girl. Her mathematics was genuinely good. Only 182 in science comprehensive. The homeroom teacher glanced at the score, feeling less threatened. That was nearly 100 points lower than Song Min's. The international class, homeroom teacher never believed this could be the Bai Lion he knew. He was aware that the Bai Lion he knew had been expelled for cheating, and as for where she went afterwards, how could he possibly care about that? Xiancheng No. 1 High School. The principal was almost ready to hold a banner celebration for the 2 students. Good. Let's continue with the joint exams. I will announce this good news to everyone," the principal said in his office after hanging up the phone from the Education Bureau. He saw Lu Lingxi, finished speaking, and then hung up. "Teacher Lu," the principal's smile did not fade. "The joint examination for the top 10 schools is not canceled." This was no surprise to the principal or Lu Lingxi. Bai Lion's sudden emergence was likely unforeseen by the schools in Baikeng. They thought that the other schools had almost no impact on the top 10 rankings and were dragging the progress of the joint exams, which is why they decided to cancel. Now talk about dragging progress. No impact on the rankings. Upon seeing that 150 score, the heads of the top 10 schools dared not speak another word. I asked, Bai Lion does not want to participate in the Wen Chong plan. Lu Lingxi sat across from the principal, slightly contemplating. Ah! Lu Lingxi remained calm. Bai Lion said she doesn't like any of the 10 majors offered by the Wen Chong plan. Principal, I mean to actually pick and choose among Jiangxing University's offerings. Since getting to know Bai Lion, the principal felt he had gained much insight. Class 15. Bai Lion pulled out 2 practice books to start solving problems. She was mainly working on biology, leaving chemistry to Ning Xiao and Tang Ming, while she finished with biology before swapping with them, making the most of everything. After school in the afternoon, Tang Ming, mingling with a group from Class 15, was also very anxious. God of fortune, don't you think you scored a bit too high? Bai Lion raised her eyebrows, her eyes exceptionally clear and cold. ... Could it be that you scored too low? Tang Ming. Pu Ziohan was taking photos on her phone for materials, and Zhang Shai's looped his arm around Tang Ming's shoulder, taller than him, like brothers. You hang out with our class every day, why don't you transfer to Class 15? Tang Ming was in no mood to joke with Zhang Shai's, just making a bitter face. Don't ask me first. When they arrived at Mother Zhang's flower shop, Zhang Shai's went his separate way from Bai Lion's group. He stroked his chin, watching Tang Ming and Ning Xiao's retreating figures. What's up with these 2? They look like they're preparing for a heroic sacrifice. Before he could figure it out, his mother, holding a watering can, knocked him on the head. What are you dazing about? Hurry up and deliver the prawns I made to Xiaolu. Library. 2nd floor. Bai Lion sat with her legs crossed, spreading out her books, then took out her error notebook, flipped open the tip of the pen with one hand, appearing lazy and casual. Across from her, Tang Ming and Ning Xiao were not so relaxed. Jiang Fulai sat beside Bai Lion. his left hand resting on the table, leaning slightly forward with his right hand, holding the math and science papers Bai Lion had given him. He scanned them from beginning to end. After spending 3 minutes scanning, he laid the papers on the dark brown tabletop, his fingers clearly defined pressing down on the paper, looked up, his face pale yet sharp. 121.95. His tone was unhurried. Those were Ning Zio's math and physics scores. Ning Zio straightened up. Yes. Did you take a nap during the exam? Master Jiang genuinely inquired. Ning Zio. I didn't. Then I truly don't understand. Master Jiang glanced at the paper, sneered. How you could lose 30 points on such an exam. Remember, the human brain is meant to be used. Ning Zio. Just curse his slow thinking and not being quick enough in calculations. Jiang Fulai's gaze turned to Tang Ming. Tang Ming quickly sat up straight, nervously awaiting Master Jiang's critique. However, when Jiang Fulai looked at him, upon reaching Tang Ming, he just sneered and said nothing more. Mr. Jiang, Tang Ming started to speak timidly. Jiang Fulai raised his hand. Since I've taught you, don't call me Mr. Jiang. Tang Ming. Hack, whimper, he's not John von Neumann, possessing a mighty brain, studying mathematics at 3, mastering calculus at 8, finishing undergraduate studies by 10. He's just an average top student. There is indeed a barrier between geniuses. All day today, Tang Ming had been showered with praise from the homeroom teacher and other subject teachers. After all, his progress had been remarkable. Chen Zhu only scored 110 in math. In the past, Tang Ming wouldn't have dared to dream of such a day. Yet here, young Master Jiang didn't even bother to scold him. Of course, the people Jiang Fulai often criticized were all of the same type as he Wen, the distinguished alumnus of Jiangjing University. When it came to Tang Ming, young Master Jiang truly didn't know where to begin with his criticism. With Tang Ming's score of 111, Jiang Fulai only wanted him to disappear from his sight right now, immediately. If President Ma found out that someone he had taught scored like this in mathematics. Thinking of this, his gaze turned coldly towards Tang Ming once again. Mr. Jiang. Bai Lion twisted open a bottle of mineral water and handed it to Jiang Fulai. His math is now ranked 3rd in the school. Jiang Fulai took the water subconsciously. Are there only 3 people who took the test? Bai Lion. Jiang Fulai. He glanced at Bai Lion, silently took a sip of the mineral water. Don't you have to go to the hospital to visit your aunt? Young Master Jiang changed the subject. Bai Lion unhurriedly retracted her gaze, started to pack her things, and spoke with a nonchalant tone. Just 3 people taking the exam, she countered. Jiang Fulai. On the other side, Jiang he looked up solemnly at Jiang Fulai. Sister is first, he said. After the 3 left, Tang Ming and Ning Zio finally came back to their senses. Tang Ming was acutely aware of the long road ahead. Across from him, Ning Zio also lowered his head in reflection, knowing ever since he found out that Bai Lion only slept 5 hours a day, he had been far too relaxed. With Jiang Fulai and Bai Lion around, yet being unable to outperform Song Min in math was truly unacceptable. Xiancheng Central Hotel. Zhang Shais brought a lunch box to Yanlu. Yanlu was staying in room 1205 of the hotel. When Zhang Shais arrived, Yanlu hadn't come back yet. He sent a message to Yanlu, and Yanlu told him to leave the lunch box at the door. She would be back later. Zhang Shais set down the lunch box, but saw a letter half-stuffed through the door crack, with what appeared to be blood stains on the envelope. Knowing that Yanlu had many cyberbullies, he frowned. He took out the envelope and left the lunch box as he went out. After returning to the flower shop, Zhang's mom learned about his exam results and almost hit him with a kettle. Zhang Shais agilely retreated to his room and shut the door. He opened his phone to find someone to play games within the class group chat. In the wait to group up for the game, he thought of the cyberbully and pulled out the envelope from his pocket. Snap, 4 photographs fell to the ground. Zhang Shais stared at the photos that had landed on the tiled floor, stunned. Clearly, the photos had been captured from some videos. Even though he was alone in the room, he swiftly picked up the photos and clamped them down on the table. Each photo had a line of words written on the back. You think you can escape me? Come here at 11 tonight. You wouldn't want these videos to appear online, would you? There was an address left. Zhang Shi's felt his head buzz, everything crashing down. Good guy, why aren't you hitting ready? From the phone, the voices of Wang Qi and the others came through. Zhang Shi's lifted his head, his normally sunny, handsome face now covered with a layer of gloom, like a clear sky obscured by dark clouds, oppressive and suffocating. The blood-stained white envelope was crumpled in his grip. Veins on his forehead and arms stood out. He abruptly raised his hand and wiped his eyes. After a while, he pulled open the door and left. I wonder if Xiaolu ate well. Zhang's mom was pruning a pot of flowers, hearing the door open but not looking back. 15 in physics, just wait until your dad comes back and see how he scolds you, she murmured. Normally, Zhang Shi's would come over to help her trim the flowers and ask her not to tell his dad. Today, however, Zhang Shi's was very silent. He put on a black baseball cap and also took out a pot full of white iris flowers from the bucket. The snow-colored iris flowers in bunches were very elegant. Zhang Shi's wrapped up an entire large bunch. Xiangcheng Hotel Room 1205. Knocking. Inside, Yan Lu was taking a shower in the bathroom. Knowing her propensity for cleanliness, her sister knew it would be a long one. She opened the door to find a tall, handsome young man standing outside. Ah, are you? Little brother Zhang. Zhang Shi's did, after all, represent the face of the male students at Xiangcheng No 1 Middle School. Her sister recognized Zhang Shi's and called out to the bathroom. Yan Lu, little brother Zhang has come to see you. Bathroom. Yan Lu's hand shook, and the razor blade slipped from her wrist. She quickly stood up from the water, dried herself off, and got dressed before coming out. With her tall stature and long legs, she wore the hotel's slippers as she came out, drying her hair along the way. What are you doing here instead of doing homework at home? Just received a bouquet of flowers, Zhang Shi's chuckled, taking out a large bunch of iris flowers from behind him and handing them to Yan Lu. I brought them to you. The motion of Yan Lu drying her hair came to a halt. She looked down at the bunch of pure white irises, glistening with water droplets. It took her a while to hesitate before she reached out and took them. Thank you. Zhang Shi's reached out and gave Yan Lu a very light hug for the first time, speaking softly. Yan Lu, it's going to be all right. After speaking, he pulled his cap down. He turned and walked out the door. The door closed behind him. Only then did Yan Lu's sister turn around with a stunned expression, looking at Yan Lu holding the flowers, and she couldn't help but doubt. You're faking your germophobia, aren't you? Yan Lu ignored her, put the flowers away, and went back to the bathroom to throw the razor blade in the trash can. The next day, Bai Lion arrived at school, and Pu Ziohan asked her usual daily question. After receiving a negative response, she relayed the message to Dean Jian. Looks like this good person is going to be late again today. Just before class started, Zhang Shi's still hadn't arrived, prompting Pu Ziohan to glance at his empty desk with a raised eyebrow. Him being late was the norm for class 15. Bai Lion opened her book, not surprised by this either. However, today was out of the ordinary for everyone, as Zhang Shi's didn't come to school at all. Even Lu Lingxi had no idea what the specific situation was. In the evening, after school, Bai Lion and a few others, including Pu Ziohan, decided to inquire at his mother's flower shop. Zhang's family lived above the flower shop, but the shop had not opened that day either. There was a backyard. Pu Ziohan glanced at Bai Lion. Bai Lion, holding a phone in one hand and a question bank in the other, gestured with a nod of her chin. Pu Ziohan understood the signal and began to knock on the backyard door. Aunt Zhang, are you home? I'm Pu Ziohan, Zhang Shi's classmate. Zhang's family living room. Yan Lu sat on the couch in a daze. Next to her, Zhang's mother's head was buried in her knees, her expression obscured. Of the three women, only her sister was somewhat composed, pacing the living room. Yan Lu, you? She initially wanted to ask Yan Lu about Zhang Shi's connection with Mr. Liu, but seeing Yan Lu's expression of total despair, she couldn't bear to press the question. I'm going to look for the Liu family. Yan Lu suddenly stood up, a cigarette unlit in her hand and her eyes cast downward, and see what they want to do about this. You're just going to go like that. Don't you know what kind of people are in the Liu family? Her sister shook her head, like scolding Yan Lu back to reality. What's most important right now is to seek the other party's letter of forgiveness as soon as possible, and then find a lawyer to sue. Knocks at the backyard door interrupted her. She looked towards Zhang's mother. Those people outside. Zhang's mother's gaze was vacant as she looked up, as if coming back to her senses only now. Yes, they're classmates of Ozzy. Their class has good relationships. Zhang Shi's had missed a day of school, and Bai Lion and the others must have come to inquire about his situation. Her sister opened the door and saw several people in Xiangcheng number 1 middle school uniforms. Classmates, little brother Zhang has some issues and needs to take some time off, her sister said with a smile. Something's happened? Bai Lion, holding her phone, squinted at Yan Lu's sister with a casual smirk. Yan Lu's sister met Bai Lion's gaze, and under any other circumstances, she would certainly have asked Bai Lion if she wanted to enter the entertainment industry, but now wasn't the time. She nodded. Yes, I'm helping them look after the shop, so you all better go home and do your homework. She closed the door and let out a sigh of relief. The girl just now was good-looking, with a seemingly casual expression, but those dark eyes made one feel completely exposed. I sent them away. Yan Lu's sister returned to the living room, and her phone finally rang. The other two looked at her anxiously. She answered, and it was Time Media calling. She had contacted them first thing in the morning, and all three had been waiting for a reply. Little Zin, I can't handle this matter. Forget about getting a lawyer. You should also find a chance to extricate yourself as soon as possible. You know what the Zinneming family is like. Liu Zin had even managed to arrange a meeting with that person from the Su family. How bold you must be to mess with the Liu family. The other party hung up after speaking. Calls back went unanswered. Yan Lu's sister looked at the nervous Yan Lu and Zhang's mother and sadly chuckled. Liu Zin's father has already arrived in Xiangcheng, and the Liu family's background is not that clean to begin with. His son is now in the ICU. Not to mention, Mr. Su is also in Xiangcheng. Mr. Su! Zhang's mother lifted her head, her voice hoarse, hearing the name Mr. Su for the first time. Mr. Su, even the Liu family has to curry favor with him. He's from Jiangzheng. Those people have enormous power. Even our boss might not dare to intervene, we and them. Being in the entertainment industry, Yan Lu's sister was the clearest about these things as she shook her head. You have to be prepared. Little brother Zhang's case. We might all be unable to extricate ourselves. Her sister had sent those students away moments ago, without saying much. Firstly, there were already enough people involved, and the few decent ones left in her circle were distancing themselves from them. She feared involving the students as well. Secondly, this matter was complicated, and not a single person from Time Media dared to touch it, so it was futile to talk to those students.